Hello, I'm Mike from Omega National Products. Today I'm going to show you how to install a range hood that we make. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take your backer board. This is your backer board. It has regular holes on one side, and on the other side it has a slight recess. And this is for your T-nuts to sit flush to the board. So this is your back side of your board. So I'm going to first install the T-nuts in the board. So I have 6 T-nuts from my hardware pack. This is a T-nut. I'm going to put it in there and then pound it flush. Flip it over to the other side. Now we have all the T-nuts installed and they're all flush to the surface. So now we're going to mark our wall. And for this demonstration, since I don't have real high ceiling in here, you mark first where your hood is going to go. In this case, I'm only putting my hood 16.5 inches off the countertop. In most cases, you'll be mounting your range hood 30 inches, 27 to 30 inches above your countertop, so it's far enough away from your stove top. But you can check your local building codes to make sure what that measurement is. So in this case, like I said, for my height, I'm going to mark where the bottom of the hood is going, which is 16.5. I'm marking on my wall. And you can use a level for this too. I'm assuming my countertop is level. So now for the arched hood, we're installing an arched hood today. For an arched hood to mount the backer board, the bottom of the backer board is going to be 6 5/8 inches up from this line. So I'm going to mark 6 5/8 inch up. So right there, 6 5/8 up. I'm going to go ahead and measure from the countertop again, so the same on both sides. In this case, I'm 23 1/4 up, so I'm going to mark over here, 23 1/4. So those are my 2 lines, and you can mark a level line. In this case, I have a black wall, so it doesn't really help to mark a line. But you mark your line across the wall, put your center line where you want the hood to be centered on also. In here, you take your backer board now, and you'll see the T-nuts are on this side. That has to go against the wall. So I'm going to flip that around so I can't see my T-nuts anymore, and the angle's going back towards the wall. So I'm going to line this up on my wall. The center line of my board is right here. I'm going to mark, put it on my level lines. I'm going to start my first screw. I've determined where I've already pre-drilled my panel for the screws. You can feel that pull in, so I know I hit a stud there. Now I'm just going to double check my lines, make sure this is level, and it'll kind of hold on the wall, so I just double check. I'm going to make it's 23 above the line there. I'm going to mark it, pull this down just a little bit. We're right at 23 above that line. So now I can put my next screw in. Make sure you use the right kind of screw, a heavy screw, not a drywall screw. Under no circumstances use a drywall screw. Their heads pop off so easy. So I'm going to put 6 screws in here. And we suggest a minimum of 6 screws. This is holding quite a bit of weight. Make sure each one's pulling. You hit something, it doesn't spin out. And that means you're hitting a stud behind there generally, so we also suggest that you make sure you hit a stud. Okay, so now the backer board's on, it's solid, it's level, and it's centered where we want to go. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to put these 8 1032 screws into the T-nuts. Just get them started, just a couple screws, they'll be hanging out maybe 1/4 inch. So you're going to put all 6 of these in, or 6 of these in. Like I said, just make sure they're started, maybe 2 or 3 rotations in. So that's good, you got that taken care of. Now, you're going to take your range hood liner. Here's your range hood liner. And you're also going to take your blower. The blower is bought separately. This is the blower, and in this case this is a Broan 500 CFM blower. We're going to take this blower, we're going to insert it in through the hole here, making sure our controls and our lights, I've taken the faceplate off already, making sure the controls and the lights are towards, this is the front of the hood. So the hole in the hood, in the range hood, is towards the back. So we're going to put this in. You might need help for this. Take it all the way in. There's a flange on here that'll keep it from going through all the way. Now you're going to take another one of these 1032 screws, and there's a small hole through here, and there's a hole in our liner that lines up. You're going to take these screws, fasten it. Actually, in this case, you're going to be actually using the 824 screws to put it, and they have square nuts. So there's square nuts and the 824 screws. So you're going to find the rest of the screws. Okay, so you're going to put those in through the hole. Make sure you push this towards the back. Right now, I'm just going to get them started, and I'll tighten them up in a second. Just snug those down by hand to get them kind of snug to begin with. Put your screw through. At this point, you can probably tip it up. You already have 2 screws through. That's snugged up. And you raise this up all the way. Find the holes that line up with our liner flange. Now, holding the nuts on the back side, just use a Phillips screwdriver and tighten these screws down. It's supposed to be fairly tight. So just back up and make sure your flange is all the way against. Now I've got all 4 screws tightened in, so my blower is now attached to the liner. Now you can flip it back up. Now you're going to take your angle plates, the hanger plates, and you're going to set those on top. And line up the last hole with the hole in the liner here. And you're going to bring this screw, in this case I'm going to bring this screw up through here. And the flange is to the outside of the range hood. And put that on with another 1032. So this time we're just going to put these on and leave these just loose enough that this can move a little bit. And put the other one on the back side. And it sometimes helps if you have off the counter a little bit. So I'm going to snug that one down also, but once again it's not super tight, it's just snug on there. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Taking the bracket and putting it on. My screw through the hole. Put it on the last hole in the bracket here. Started. Get the back one started. So I'm going to snug these down. So now the angle can move a little bit, but not a lot. So now this hanger has a teardrop hole here. You can see in the back, and you have your screws back in the back. So now you might need somebody to help you lift this up. Sometimes it's easier by yourself. You can lift this, support it underneath, put this up on. Put it on the screw. I have it hanging on the screws now. This one I'm going to get on all three screws to make sure all three screws are hanging on that. So now you have it hung to the wall. And I'm just going to take my Phillips screwdriver, tighten these back. Once you get the top one, I come over here, do the top one over here, make sure these are good and snug. Now you see this is leveling out. Go ahead and tighten all three screws on this side. Final two screws on this side. Now it's solid, but not super solid yet, so we're going to go ahead and you can put a 3/8 inch wrench on these, and we'll go ahead and tighten these now. So I'm going to tighten those down good. Now you can see all the weight is being held by your backer board and your brackets. No weight is on your range hood. So now you have everything in place. Now is the time you can take your electrical, you can make take your electrical line, hook it in, take your HVAC pipe and hook it in. You can make your final tape joints here because you don't need to get, you can get at everything right now and you can hang your hood. So make your hookups to your HVAC and electrical according to your codes in your area. Now, the hood, in this case we have the arched range hood. You can see on the back of the arched range hood it has 2 angled pieces of wood. Those are going to fit in your angled piece on the wall. Okay? So now you're going to take this to your wall, get it started right here on the hood, the bottom corner, hold it above those, where those angle brackets go, angles, and you're going to force this down in now, and it's on top of there. Now you're going to probably want to get up on a stool or a ladder and make sure those are attached properly. So now your hood is up there, very solid, not going anywhere. And at this time, you take your screw gun, and there's a couple holes in the liner. You take your screw gun and fasten the liner to the hood. And you can also hook the liner to the back wall if necessary. And I hook the liner in here. So now the liner is attached, so now this can't lift up anymore because the hood is attached to the liner now. So now we have all our hookups there. We take our chimney. And I've already cut, you can see the distance to the roof, the ceiling now is 13.5. I've cut my chimney. I'm going to put a piece of trim at the top in this case, so my chimney, you can cut it right to length so you don't have that. Now you take your chimney, and normally on our chimney we have some brackets in the back so you can attach the back plate to the wall. Otherwise you can just toenail this into the wall in the back also. In this case, you're going to take your chimney, slide it on, and then attach it either with some cleats in the back or just some toenail to the finish nailer to the back, and then you can trim it out at the top. So that's our installation of our range hood, our arched range hood.